Do you have an iPod? How many people do you know that have one? If your job were to predict iPod sales for production purposes, you would want to use a mathematical model. Let's look at some sales figures and how we might accomplish this. The iPod was introduced by Apple in the fall of 2001. You can see that from 2002 to 2005, sales grew rapidly. What kind of function would best model this data? We see that every year the total sales increased drastically, leading us to use an exponential function to relate the year since 2002 and the total iPods sold. In an effort to keep it simple, let's say that the total sales have increased by 4 times each year, and the sales in 2002 were 0.4 This gives us the equation y equal 0.4 times 4 to the x. When we compare our model to the actual data, we see a pretty good fit. Do you think this model will be good for the long term? Looking at the data, the sales continued to increase through 2008, but then actually fell off a bit in 2009. And the multiplier continually decreased to almost 1. Our original model will not work for the long term because although sales remain strong, they leveled off and are not increasing at the same rate. We have a mathematical model for these types of situations, where something grows exponentially for a while and then levels off. It is called the logistic model. Let's look at the equation to understand the initial behavior and what happens over time. When x equals 0, the value of y is c divided by 1 plus a, because e to the 0 equal 1. And when x is very large, e to the negative bx would approach 0, so the value of y would approach c. Using a graphing calculator, we can get a logistic equation to fit this data. Notice that the maximum value of y would be 284 million iPods sold. Although our equation is not as good a fit in the early years, the trends are there, and over time this model fits the data much better than an exponential equation or any other common function. We can see from our model that iPod sales will not increase forever. So what's next for Apple? iPhones, iPads, and more? People are always ready for new and different toys. Will you be the one to create the next new technology?